This constitutes a security hazard.
Hello, welcome back. In today's Security Hazard Mini, we're going to be taking a look at it's a little book. It's a it's a teeny little book, and it's called The Little Book of Classic Thunderbirds. This was obviously after the Thunderbirds movie came out, when they needed to distinguish that this was indeed classic Thunderbirds and not the movie. But before the new series, the Thunderbirds I'll Go, came out. Anyway, it's a little book of Thunderbirds. I don't really know what else to say about it, but it's so teeny tiny. And actually, it does contain quite a lot of stuff. It's a surprising amount of information they managed to fit into such a little book. So I thought, well, it's a Security Hazard Mini, so let's have a look at a mini book. First, let's read the back. So this is the blurb. It's a little book, but it's big on info. This book is all about international rescue, Thunderbirds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and their associated craft, crew, and missions. Facts, stats, technical data, cross sections, profiles, and more add up to a handy, pocket sized FAB book all about Thunderbirds. Collect all Thunderbirds little books. Apparently, there's more than one. The Little Book of Thunderbird 1, the Little Book of Thunderbird 2, the Little Book of Thunderbird 3, the Little Book of Thunderbird 4. No Little Book of Thunderbird 5? Well, we'll get to that. This was originally £2.99. £2.99. I mean, to be fair, for £2.99, that is it is a very small book, but I'm again, for the amount of stuff that's in here, I'd say good value for money. But yes, and apparently, they did little books of all the other Thunderbirds craft except for Thunderbird 5. And as we'll discover, quite a lot of this book is dedicated to Thunderbird 5. So I wonder whether maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But let's have a look. So let's get into the Little Book of Thunderbirds. And it's so tiny, I don't need reading glasses, but my distance glasses will struggle with this. So let's take a look. So published in 2003. Doesn't actually say who wrote it, but I'm pretty sure basically what this does is recycles bits and pieces from things like the Complete Book of Thunderbirds by Chris Bentley, and probably various annuals and stuff like that came out around about the same time. So the contents, the little bit of contents there, pictures obviously appearing on the screen so that you can actually see what's in the book. Contents include International Rescue, Thunderbirds Craft, Thunderbirds Put in Perspective, very important, Scott Tracy, Virgil Tracy, Alan Tracy, Gordon Tracy, John Tracy, Tracy Island, Indispensable Allies, and Public Enemy Number 1. So it's quite a lot of detail in there. Now, as you can see, most of the book covers the craft. So a little bit of background info on International Rescue. The motto of International Rescue is not to give up at any cost. Very, very true. Very true. That's according. Can you name the episode that Jeff actually says that in? Moving You're Dead. And if I'm wrong on that, then I'm so sorry. So we've got some information on Thunderbird 1, length 115 feet. Now, see, just like when we were talking about the Captain Scarlet annual, I feel like there's conflicting information out there about the various specifications of various characters and craft. Length 115 feet, but in the audio episode, I think, introducing Thunderbirds, they say the length of Thunderbird 1 is 90 feet. So, I mean, where's that extra 25 feet coming from? I don't know. But yeah, lots of detail and things like that. Now, you'll notice that basically Thunderbird 1, Thunderbird 2, Thunderbird 3, and Thunderbird 4 only get basically one spread each. Now, presumably that's because they each have their own little book dedicated to them that you could buy in this range. So, I mean, there's detail in there and some nice pictures and things like that. So that's good. Quite an unusual choice of image for Thunderbird 3, it has to be said. But, then again, there's not a whole lot to choose from. So, yeah, Thunderbird 3, Thunderbird 4. But then you get to Thunderbird 5, and it's like, okay, here's all the info. And we literally go from page 16 all the way to, and bearing in mind this is a little book, all the way to page, what is that? Page 40. Oh my goodness, all the page numbers have stopped. There's no page numbers. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 39 just on Thunderbird 5. In this little book of Thunderbirds, they decided to dedicate half of it to Thunderbird 5. Respect. Massive respect for that. Thunderbird 5 is the heart of International Rescue Communications Network, a massive space station maintained in a secret geostationary orbit high above the Earth. Lovely, lovely picture of Thunderbird 5 there. And, again, not many publicity photos of Thunderbird 5 to work with. So very good that they have that. Lots of detail, talking about all the equipment that's included. Little biography about John, Tracy in there. The fact that John and Alan take turns manning Thunderbird 5. Although, if you ask me, not a very balanced duty according to the TV series. More shots talking about the interior. It's a 3 stories apparently at Thunderbird 5. Accommodation and living quarters on the 2nd floor. There's so much. It's surprising again and I cannot stress this enough, for such a little book. It's a little book of Thunderbirds, but it's got so much in it. So much detail for $2.99. What? That's a great value. And then you've got Graham Bleethman's cross-section drawings, the famous cutaway drawings that Graham does so beautifully. Basically, what they've done is they've taken one of those drawings and they've split it up over the course of several pages so that you can get a close-up look of every aspect of Thunderbird 5. All the detail is in there. So if you've ever gotten one of those cross-section books, like the Haynes Thunderbirds manual is a good example. If you've got one of those, this is basically a smaller version of that. And as I say, fits in your pocket. It's super duper convenient and looks fantastic. But yeah, just all that detail on Thunderbird 5. Really, really clever. Good way of clearly they had the one Graham Bleethman illustration and we're like, okay, how do we cover the whole of Thunderbird 5 just in that space? Let's just take bits of it and cut them up and place it on different pages. This is really nice. Thunderbirds put in perspective. It's literally like, okay, these are all the Thunderbird craft. This is a scale diagram of the different Thunderbird craft. You don't see many of those. Now, I can't speak for the accuracy of this, to be honest. It looks pretty accurate. It looks pretty good. It's just nice that they just say, yeah, we'll dedicate a page to that. Why not? Then we have itty bitty tiny little biographies on all the different Tracy brothers. So Scott Tracy, the eldest of Jeff Tracy's sons. Scott was born on the 4th of April 2039. We're on the 2065 timeline here. Now 26 years old. He was named after pioneer astronaut Scott Malcolm Carpenter. Yep. Now, what's the birth order of the Tracy brothers according to this? Because I know that's a point of contention for people. Let's see. So Scott is the oldest at 26. Virgil is 24. Alan is 21. Born in 2024. So yeah, 21 years old. Gordon, 22. John, 25. So John is the second oldest. Virgil is in the middle. Let me know what you make of that, because I have no interest. Honestly, wasn't an issue in the TV series. Nobody cared how old the different Tracy brothers are. So I know that fans like to argue about this sort of stuff. I personally could not care less. I do not know. I guess because of the order of the opening titles, I would say the birth order is Scott, John, Virgil, Gordon, Allen. But honestly, if someone wants to change that, someone has an argument to go the other way, I really don't care. And then there's John gets a little bit more detail because again, this book is sort of about Thunderbird 5, really. I wonder why they didn't call it the Little Book of Thunderbird 5, because so much of it is about Thunderbird 5. Maybe they felt that they couldn't write enough about Thunderbird 5, so they had to put it in with everything else. But I mean, I don't know. Tracy Island, a little bit of info about Tracy Island there. Mentions the island of Moila. So that's good. Always like that gets a mention. So yeah, detail about Tracy Island, about the villa, about where everyone lives. What's the Tracy Villa contains guest rooms, a lounge, library, dining room, laboratory, games room, shooting range, music room, workshop, and cinema. Not a bad thing. Now they've included Graham Bleethman's cross-section drawing of Tracy Island. But it is so tiny, I can not make out any of the details at all. I can just about see where all the different launch bays are, and that's about it. They didn't include any of the labels, so it really is very difficult to see. I genuinely can't look at it through these glasses. I have to take them off. Oh no, they did include labels. Okay, on the next page, they've labeled everything. I wonder why they didn't just label it on one. But anyway. They have included labels of everything on the next page, so that's good. And it goes on. Okay, so similar to what they did for Thunderbird 5, they've now taken that cross-section drawing and they've cut it up, and they are including it across several different pages. Indispensable allies. They have a section about brains, 25 years old, again, if you're keeping up. Lady Penelope Crichton Ward, chief operative of the Federal Agents Bureau. And then she met Jeff Tracy. Stylish and fashionable in every aspect of her life, Lady Penelope owns Fab One as well as Seabird, a 40-foot ocean-going cruiser. Now, who knows? Oh, and then on the very next page, Fab 2, a sleek private yacht, and Fab 3, a prize-winning racehorse. Yes. Who has read that comic strip where it is revealed that Fab 3 is a racehorse? Blew my mind. I remember reading that as a kid and being like, wow, that's what Fab 3 is. So great that it gets referenced in this book, actually. That's really nice sort of continuity across all the merchandise. I will say this era of Thunderbird's merchandise with the blue on it was quite good for that. They clearly kind of paid attention to what other people and different writers and stuff like that were doing. Or maybe it was all written by the same person. I don't know. Without a doubt, her most famous possession is Fab One, an incredible six-wheeled pink Rolls-Royce driven by one Aloysius Parker. And then, of course, we get detail all about Parker. It's strange we don't get a cross-section drawing of Fab One. Considering Fab One doesn't get its own little book, it would have been nice to have a bit of Fab One detail in there. Double page spread on Tintin. That's always good to see. And then Public Enemy number 1, of course, it's the Hood. And there he is on page 75, being a menace. There he is there. Ruthless and calculating, beyond comprehension. He used his mystical powers, steeped in voodoo and black magic to deadly effect, allowing nothing to stand in the way of his evil objectives. Unfortunately, he is defeated by a robot mouse. And there we go. And it finishes. It was doing so well. It was going so well. And then on the back page, they decided to take a publicity photo and flip it for no apparent reason. They have flipped this image back to front of the Tracy family and Penelope and everyone sat together in Lady Penelope's mansion. But they flipped the image round, which is exactly the sort of thing that really annoys me. There was no need for that, and they just decided to do it anyway. But that's it. That's the Little Book of Thunderbirds. Other than that flipped image debacle at the very end, really impressive little book. As I say, published in 2003, so probably might be quite hard to get hold of now. Let me know if you have this or any of the other little books. I really didn't know that they did a range of little books of Thunderbirds. And let me know. Obviously, we all know about the Little Book of Calm.
Do you have the Little Book of Calm? I need the Little Book of Calm. Do you have it? I need it. I'm late for work.
From Black Books with Bill Bailey, if you know that reference. But let me know if there are any other little books out there that you hold dear. I certainly appreciate having a pocket-sized edition. You know, just pops in there. I'll be in a conversation with a friend, maybe out on a date, romancing my wife, and I'll be like, "Hello, dear. Nice to see you again. Did you know that Thunderbird 5 uses a space signaling laser beam system and starfix sensors to maintain Thunderbird 5's orbital position? Did you know that? Well, stay tuned because there'll be more little facts from my Little Book of Thunderbirds later on this evening. No, don't leave. Don't leave. Come back. Come back.
Security hazard negative.